At 11:32 p.m., a knock cut through the rain, sharp, insistent. Riku unlatched the chain, expecting a neighbor's complaint. Instead, Hina stood there, water dripping from mint-green twin tails, a calico cat tucked against her chest.
Senpai, I have nowhere else.
Riku's hand tightened on the doorframe. The cat mewed, tiny and soaked.
She hasn't spoken more than 3 words all semester. Why here? Why now?
Can I stay just for tonight?
Get inside. You're letting the cold in.
She stepped inside, water pooling at her feet. The cat's wet fur clung to her sweater. A small floral suitcase trailed behind her, its wheels leaving thin tracks on the floor.
What am I doing? A girl I barely know in my apartment at midnight.
He grabbed a towel and handed it to her without meeting her eyes.
Thank you, Senpai.
You can use the bedroom. I'll take the couch.
I can't. Take your bed.
You're soaked. Just take it.
Hina hesitated, then nodded, clutching the cat closer. Riku led her to the bedroom, not looking back. The calico cat jumped onto the bed and immediately started kneading the pillow.
What am I supposed to do now?
He grabbed a spare blanket from the closet and threw it over the couch. As he lay down, the sound of the rain filled the room, a steady, indifferent rhythm. Somewhere in the darkness, a question waited, heavy and unspoken. Morning light seeped through the blinds, thin and colorless. The kettle whistled from the kitchen. Hina stood at the stove, steam curling around her. The calico cat wove between her ankles.
She stayed. Of course she stayed.
In the bathroom, Riku stared at his reflection. It stared back, sleepless and wary.
What do I even say to her? Good morning, stranger who lives in my apartment now.
When he came out, 2 cups of tea waited on the low table. The cat rubbed against his leg.
Good morning, Senpai.
Morning.
They drank in silence. Riku set his cup down with a clink that sounded louder than it was.
Do you have somewhere to go today?
Hina shook her head, gaze fixed on the cat. She said nothing.
Of course not.
The day dragged on, punctuated only by the rustle of his notes and her quiet footsteps. By evening, the calico had claimed a cushion. Hina had not spoken since morning.
This is my home. Why do I feel like the guest?
The second morning mirrored the first. Hina at the stove, tea already brewing. Clean dishes lined the drying rack. A new box of tea sat on the counter.
She's nesting. This isn't just for tonight anymore.
On the third night, rain returned. Hina sat on the floor, cat in her lap, reading.
Hina, it's been 3 days. I need to know why you're here.
She turned her head, letting her hair hide her face. Her fingers tightened on the pages.
She won't tell me. Fine. I'll find out myself. Tomorrow, I'll start asking questions at the literature club.
The next morning, Riku walked across campus under a sun that felt too bright.
I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her standing in the rain.
He pushed open the literature club door. The familiar scent of old paper hit him. Aya sat cross-legged on a desk, scrolling through her phone. She looked up with a grin.
Oh, Riku-senpai. You never come by anymore. What's up?
Aya, do you know anything about Hina? She's been missing from class.
Wait, you haven't heard? I thought the whole campus knew by now.
Aya leaned closer, lowering her voice to a dramatic whisper.
Her parents kicked her out. Just like that. No warning.
What? Why?
They wanted her to transfer to some super elite university in London. She said no. So they told her if she wasn't going to follow their plan, she wasn't their daughter anymore.
Riku's stomach nodded. He'd been annoyed, inconvenienced while she'd lost everything.
But why would she refuse a transfer like that? That's not like Hina.
Who knows? I think she just really loves this club. Or maybe she's got a secret boyfriend or something.
The club? That's not enough. There's something she isn't telling anyone. Did she ever say anything? About why? Anything at all?
Nope. You know, Hina. Getting 3 words out of her is a miracle. She just packed up and left. It's kind of romantic though, isn't it? Choosing freedom over some stuffy old university.
Romantic? She's homeless because of it, and I've been treating her like an intruder. Thanks, Aya. I need to go.
He walked out into the corridor, the weight of the revelation pressing on his chest.
I have to ask her directly, but this time I'll be gentle. She's been carrying this alone.
Riku unlocked the apartment door quietly, bracing himself. The scent of jasmine tea greeted him. Hina was in the kitchen, stirring a pot. Her shoulders tensed when she heard him.
Hina, can we talk? Sit with me.
She set the ladle down, wiped her hands on her sweater, and knelt across from him.
I heard about your parents, the transfer. I'm sorry.
Hina flinched, then nodded, still not meeting his eyes. The cat jumped onto her lap.
Why didn't you tell me? You could have explained.
I was afraid.
Afraid of what?
She shook her head, twin tails swaying. Her phone buzzed on the table, screen lighting up. The notification flashed. Minty Reader, new chapter of The Lantern Keeper is out. Hina snatched the phone, silencing it. Her cheeks flushed.
Minty Reader? That's a novel review account online. Why is she so flustered? I'm not going to push you, but you can stay as long as you need.
Thank you. I'll make dinner.
She retreated to the kitchen. Riku noticed a scrap of paper on the floor, fallen from her pocket. He unfolded it. Handwritten in shaky pen, "Your words make me feel less alone. Please keep writing."
A fan letter? But why hide it? Unless the recipient is someone she knows?
The cat mewed, weaving between his ankles, breaking his concentration.
She's writing to an author and guarding it like a secret. I need to know who. It might explain everything.
From the kitchen, the clatter of pots resumed. The apartment felt smaller than ever.
She's hiding more than being kicked out, and I'm going to find it.
That night, after Hina turned in early, Riku sat at his desk and opened his laptop. He navigated to his author email, the one he never checked when others might see. He searched Minty Reader. Dozens of messages filled the screen, spanning 3 years. Subject: Your story saved me. I'm scared, but your words give me strength to choose my own path.
She was writing to me. Minty Reader is Hina.
I think I know who you are. I joined the literature club because of you.
She knew my pen name, my face. She sought me out deliberately.
You mentioned you go to T University. I'm applying there next year.
That's why she's here. She planned this years in advance.
He remembered the scrap of paper. Your words make me feel less alone.
She chose homelessness over losing the only connection she thought she had.
Scrolling further, he found a message sent just hours before the rainy night. They said if I don't go to London, I'm no longer their daughter. I'd rather be no one's daughter than lose your stories.
That's not admiration. That's something terrifying.
He glanced at his novel in progress, the file titled The Girl with Mint Hair.
I wrote her into existence without even knowing. The world isn't this small, except it is. What do I do? Confront her? Pretend I never saw this?
He closed the laptop. The apartment was silent, save for the cat's soft purr from the bedroom.
She's been just a door away, protecting this secret as fiercely as I've protected my pen name.
Through the thin wall, he heard a soft rustle, Hina turning in her sleep.
This changes everything, and nothing. I still don't know what I'm supposed to feel, but I can't unread it. I can't unknow.
The next morning, the routine resumed. Hina at the stove, steam rising. When Riku emerged, she held out a cup, eyes downcast as always. His fingers jerked, and the cup tilted. Hot tea spread across the table in a scalding pool.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I'm just tired.
That evening, they ate in silence, the clink of chopsticks loud in the quiet room.
Even the smallest flame can hold back the dark.
Riku's chopsticks froze. That line was from his first novel, the one she'd reviewed years ago.
She knows every word I've written.
He excused himself, retreating to his bedroom under the guise of work. For 2 days, he hid behind his laptop, using work as a shield, emerging only when the apartment lay silent. Her turquoise eyes tracked his every move, clouded with hurt and unspoken questions. Even the calico cat meowed plaintively at the bedroom door as if asking to be let in. On the third morning, a folded slip of paper sat on his keyboard. Did I do something wrong? If I'm a burden, please tell me. I'll leave. The paper trembled in his hands.
She thinks she's the problem.
His mind flashed to the email. I'd rather be no one's daughter than lose your stories.
But I'm the one making her feel unwelcome.
He pushed open his door. Hina sat on the floor, cat curled in her lap, staring at nothing.
Hina.
But the words caught in his throat. The silence stretched heavier than anything he could say. Riku reached into his pocket and placed a printed email on the table. Hina's turquoise eyes widened, fixed on the familiar username.
You wrote this, didn't you? To Kayan, my pen name.
She didn't deny it. Her hands curled into small fists on her lap.
And you knew that Kayan was me.
A tear traced a path down her pale cheek. She nodded.
Yes.
Why did you come here, Hina? The real reason.
The calico cat rubbed against her ankle, a silent comfort.
Because you were the only one who listened. You asked me once in the club room what I thought of a novel. No one else ever did.
Riku remembered. A passing question, a casual kindness he'd forgotten.
That was nothing. A simple question.
It wasn't nothing to me.
Silence filled the space between them, thick and charged.
I'm sorry for lying, for invading your home, for everything.
Don't apologize. You didn't invade anything.
He wanted to say more, but the words felt inadequate. The cat jumped onto the table, nudging the paper with its nose.
She put everything on the line for me, and I was too blind to see it.
Momo, stop!
For a moment, the tension cracked. Then reality settled back, heavier than before.
Now we both know. But where do we go from here?
Hina took a shaky breath, and the words began, halting, fragile but unstoppable.
3 years ago, I found a story online. The Lantern Keeper. It had almost no views, but I read it in one night, and for the first time, I felt like someone understood. I wrote to the author. I didn't expect a reply, but you did. Every time.
Riku remembered. He'd always replied to his few readers, a compulsion he never questioned. She described a literature club event where she heard his voice during a reading.
You read a passage. Your voice was exactly how I imagined the narrators. I knew then, Kayan was you, and I was already connected.
She pieced it together from a single event. How lonely must she have been to cling so tightly?
So, when I enrolled, I joined the club. I wanted to be near you, even if I couldn't speak.
Momo meowed softly, as if punctuating her confession.
Every club meeting, I sat in the corner and just watched you. That was enough.
Riku's fists clenched under the table. He'd never noticed, never even looked her way.
Then my parents announced the transfer. They told me it was all arranged. And suddenly, I was facing a life without your stories, without you. I couldn't do it. So I told them no, and they threw me out.
Her voice cracked on the last word, but she held his gaze for the first time.
She threw away her family for a stranger who didn't even see her. This isn't romantic. It's terrifying.
I'm sorry, Senpai. I know it's too much. I just wanted you to understand.
Riku opened his mouth, but no sound came. The weight of her sacrifice pressed down on him. Momo padded into his lap, purring against his clenched stomach.
I'm not worthy of this. I'm just a guy who writes. What do I even say to that?
Long after Hina retreated to the bedroom, Riku sat in the dark, the laptop's glow his only light.
Her words keep replaying. You were the only one who listened. A simple question, a casual kindness, and it became her whole world. How do I respond to that? My words have always been my shield.
He opened the file he'd abandoned months ago. The girl with mint hair.
I started this as a fantasy, but now it's her. If I can't say it out loud, I'll write it. The story only she will understand.
He deleted the old opening and began anew. A lonely writer, a rainy night, a silent girl with mint hair. The hours dissolved. Fingers struck keys with purpose, each sentence a bridge across the silence. Morning light crept through the blinds, pale and cold. He hadn't moved. The manuscript glowed on the screen, a dozen pages, raw and personal. He scrawled a note on a torn page. "I'm working on something. Please wait for me." He left it on the kotatsu, then collapsed onto the couch.
This is the only way I know to reach her. Let the story speak.
When Hina emerged, she found the note. Her fingers traced the words, and for the first time in days, her shoulders relaxed.
Okay, I'll wait.
In the other room, Riku lay still, but his eyes remained open, strained but alive with a new purpose.
I'm not writing just for myself anymore. This time, it's for her.
The screen filled with words, a reflection of the silence they'd shared, now given voice.
I'll finish it, and then I'll show her. Whatever comes after, at least I'll have been honest.
And so the quiet work continued, page by page, bridging the distance with ink. The answer was being written, neither spoken nor heard, but felt in every line. Days blurred. Riku barely moved, his world shrinking to the open document. Hina tiptoed in, placing a cup of tea beside him. He didn't notice.
The words won't come out right. This passage is hollow. What if she reads it and thinks it's pathetic?
He highlighted a paragraph, finger hovering over delete.
No, I didn't write this to be perfect. I wrote it to be true.
He pulled his hand away and kept writing, sentence by painful sentence. On the floor, Hina sat with Momo, a stack of discarded pages growing by the door.
He's fighting something. I won't interrupt.
Evening of the third day, Riku typed the final period and sat back, chest heaving. On the screen, the title page shimmered, "The Girl Who Came on a Rainy Night."
This is it. Everything I couldn't say.
He printed the pages, the old printer whirring in the silence. A stack of warm paper, 32 pages of raw confession.
I'm terrified, but this is the only way forward.
He straightened the pages, smoothed the title page with his thumb. He stepped into the living room, the manuscript heavy in his hands. Hina sat on the floor, Momo asleep in her lap. She looked up, eyes questioning.
I wrote something. For you.
She stared at the stack, then at him, not yet reaching.
It's the only way I could answer you. Please.
He retreated to the doorway, heart thudding, and waited. Hina's fingers brushed the title page, tracing the ink. The Girl Who Came on a Rainy Night. Her lips parted, breath shallow. She turned to the first page. The opening line was a mirror. It started with rain. The next words described a knock, a soaked stranger, a man who didn't turn away. A tear slid down her cheek, dropping onto the page.
Even the smallest flame.
The passage continued, a calico cat weaving through sentences named after peaches. She touched the words as if they might dissolve under her fingers. Momo stirred, rubbing against her knee, a silent anchor. She read about a silent girl with mint hair who cracked open a writer's frozen world. A sob escaped her, raw and unexpected. Through the doorway crack, Riku saw her shoulders shake.
I'm making her cry again.
The pages turned faster, blurring past a confession written in fiction.
He didn't know he needed saving until she stood in the rain.
She reached a page with a coffee spill stain, identical to the one on his desk. Her fingers traced the ring, a tiny, mundane proof of his sleepless nights. She turned to the final page, breath held. The last line was simple, and he finally had something to write about. Slowly, she closed the manuscript and pressed it to her heart. Riku didn't breathe. The silence stretched unbearably. Then, she lifted her head, and turquoise eyes met his through the gap in the door. Her lips parted. The words waited, trembling on the edge of a breath. Riku stepped into the room, his footsteps unnaturally loud in the silence. He knelt across from her, the kotatsu between them like a fragile bridge. Momo padded into the space between them, purring, breaking the stillness. Hina's gaze didn't waver for the first time, no fear, no downcast eyes. Riku's heart hammered against his ribs, each beat a countdown. The word faltered, broke. She pressed the manuscript tighter to her chest. She took a shaky breath, the kind that fills the lungs and steadies the soul.
Don't push. Let her find the words.
Momo nudged her elbow, a soft mew of encouragement. Hina opened her eyes and lifted her chin, her voice no longer caught but found. The air thickened, the world outside the apartment ceasing to exist. Riku felt the weight of the years, her letters, her silence, his blindness, all converging to this single moment. Hina's lips moved, soundlessly at first, as if testing the shape of what she needed to say. Then, her voice came, small but steady, a spark catching flame.
The
syllable hung between them, a promise.
I would.
She stopped, not from hesitation, but to choose her words with the care of someone who has been silent for too long. Momo purred, a steady rhythm that seemed to anchor the room. And then Hina spoke the clearest, longest sentence she had ever uttered. Riku heard his own heartbeat echo the words before they even came.
I'd marry that man.
The words hung in the air, simple and absolute. Riku's mind went blank, then flooded with image, her letters, her silence, her standing in the rain. Across the kotatsu, Hina didn't look away.
She means it. Every word.
A new tear traced down her cheek, but her smile grew. Riku's hand moved before he could think, reaching across the table. Their fingers touched, hesitant, then locked. He didn't know who moved first, but suddenly she was in his arms, the manuscript pressed between them.
You wrote me a world where I could stay.
You gave me a reason to write it.
Momo meowed and jumped onto their laps, purring like a small motor. For the first time in days, the silence wasn't empty but full.
I was so afraid you'd send me away.
I couldn't. Not after everything.
He pressed his forehead to hers, their breaths mingling. The manuscript slipped to the floor, pages scattering, but no one moved to pick them up. They stayed like that, two silent people who had finally found words. Momo batted at a page with a tiny paw, then curled up in the nest of paper.
Thank you for not giving up on me.
Thank you for waiting.
The rain had stopped outside. A faint glow of morning crept under the door. A new day, and for the first time they faced it together. They lay back on the tatami, side by side, the scattered manuscript a white sea around them.
I thought you'd hate me for knowing who you were and never saying.
I was too busy being scared of myself to be angry at you. Scared that my writing wouldn't be enough. That I wouldn't be enough.
You were always enough. Your words kept me breathing during the worst days.
And your letters. They were the only proof I had that someone actually read my work. Every time I thought about quitting, another email from Minty Reader would appear. Like you knew.
I think I did. I could feel when the silence was too heavy in your stories.
Momo meowed and deposited a crumpled page onto Riku's stomach.
She thinks your ending needs work.
Obviously. I ended it with a cliché, and they lived happily ever after.
It wasn't a cliché. It was the truth.
They fell into a comfortable silence, Momo purring between them.
By the way, I think we've been reading the same books for years without knowing.
Let me guess. You have a dog-eared copy of The Night Wanderer too?
It's under my pillow right now.
Riku laughed, a real laugh, surprising himself. The sound filled the tiny room.
I've never heard you laugh like that.
Neither have I. Not in a long time.
The sun climbed higher. painting golden stripes across the floor. Momo stretched and settled into the nest of papers, one paw resting on the title page. Everything unspoken had been said, everything broken was mending. A few mornings later, the apartment smelled of butter and tea. Momo sat on the windowsill, tail flicking as she watched raindrops chase each other down the glass. Riku leaned against the counter, laptop open on the kotatsu, but his eyes were elsewhere.
She ties her apron different now. Looser. More like this is home.
Hina hummed a melody he didn't recognize, but it fit the rhythm of the pan. Momo meowed, a sharp demand for breakfast, and Hina laughed.
Yes, yes, you little tyrant. One more pancake.
Riku chuckled and she turned, flour dusting her cheek.
Oh, good morning, senpai.
Good morning, Hina.
She wiped the flour off with the back of her hand, a habit she'd picked up from watching him.
You've got a little. Never mind, you got it.
I'm learning from the best.
He stood and walked closer, stopping just behind her. The manuscript had found a home on the bookshelf, spine uncreased.
Need help?
I've got it. You just keep writing.
They stood there a moment, the rain a soft percussion on the roof. Momo jumped down and wound between their feet, a tiny messenger of ordinary happiness. He didn't need a world-saving plot or a dramatic twist. This simple quiet was the story he'd been trying to write.
This is enough.
The camera pulls back, past the floral suitcase tucked in the corner, past the stack of manuscripts, through the window where the rain began to ease. And somewhere inside, a girl with mint green hair finally found a place to stay. End.